here's the deal. I want to make the Microsoft website. I want you guys to take a look at this. And literally, you guys are going to be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing for your projects, right? I'm going to do this in 20 minutes. And by 20 minutes from now, you'll see that I've got like a 60 on this project. All right, now obviously I can code a little quicker than you, but you'll get the point here. First thing you should do is this thing that says title. I just want you to know what that is. When you open a website, you see the tab right there, it says Replit? That relates to the title right here. So when I ever make a website, you got to put whatever you want the name of your website to be. This is going to be Microsoft, so I'm going to change this to Microsoft. You guys should do the same thing. It tells you to do the two, Microsoft. So if I just press reload now, it says Microsoft. All right, let's go to real Microsoft. I want you to take a look at this website. Take a look, Microsoft, boom, bang, bah. So this is, God, this recording's gonna go on forever. Make sure you fast forward through boring parts. All right, this is the Microsoft website. All right, I'll show you what I'm gonna replicate because I'm not gonna do it dead on, but just so you guys get the point. I'm gonna ignore the nav bar. Obviously, that's just like some text and a logo. You have most of it there. You can do that with a white background. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. All right, that's the goal. Just these two things. And I'm gonna skip this part of it. Whatever, you'll get the point. This is a demo. So for the first part, what I wanna do is just get the images that I need. There's two ways to do it. I'm just gonna do it the easy way, which is if you right click on things, you can save the image as. So I need this image. We'll call this laptop. I'm gonna get these 4 images. So this is 365, save image. I'll call this apps. Let's get this one. This is a laptop. Okay, this is a Surface, save image. This is enthralling, right? And this is Bing. By the way, have you guys heard about the new Bing search engine?
No.
They're using AI, so you could just ask it questions. Instead of sending it to like a website, it just was like, oh, do you need to make tomato soup? Here's the recipe. Like, it'll just know what you want. If you're like, oh, what's the best bike to buy? It'll look at every website and be like, the best bike you should buy is this. It's crazy. It's in beta mode though, so you won't have it. All right, so I downloaded my images from the site. I'll show you them in a second, but they're all here. I'm adding them to my page. And like I said, instead of going on the internet and looking for images that look like the one on your website, just use the ones from your website. It'll look a lot more accurate if you use those. So if you look, these are the same exact, you see how these are the images from before? Yep. We go with that?
Yeah.
Great, super. Great. Hold on. And let me just see one more. Okay. So this first one right here, what I'm gonna set up is a 4-column system. So you can see like this is kind of like 1, and then I have 4 here. Does that make sense? So like this is like all the way across, and then I have 4 here. You with me so far? Now I just want to explain my thought process too a little bit, so you have that same thinking here. But remember, there's 2 ways to add an image to a screen. One is to use the image tag. What's the other way to add an image to the screen? We talked about this from the Do Now last time.
Image. Wait.
Background?
You can set it as background. So you have to say to yourself, on this case, you might remember when you looked at our image here, when I looked at this, let me go here, where was it here? This one. Do you guys see how this is the image? And what they did was then they put text on top of it over here. In this case, you'd want to set it as the background, right? That makes sense that it's a background because you're putting text on top of it. In this case, right, for these 4 columns, this is just images with text underneath it. I'm not putting anything over it. So these are going to be like straight image tags. You see the difference on like my thinking here? Background, regular image tags. Good? All right, let's get started just with this first thing. We call this a splash. And let's just get that on the page. So I'm going to go to index. I'm going to make my div with a wrapper. ID equals wrapper. Remember, because I want my grid with 4 columns. I'm going to put this div. Okay. So I made a wrapper. Now, bear with me for a second. If I'm going to have 4 columns, how many divs are going to be inside of my grid? It's a tough question. I have 4 columns. How many divs? Remember, I'm making this and this. Good job. Yeah, she got it. 5 divs. This is 1 box, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put 5 boxes there, 5 divs. Does anyone have any questions about that? I just feel like stop me if you're like, whoa, I didn't get that part. So let's make 5 divs. All right, I'm going to make a div 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I'm just setting myself up for success. So this is a grid with 5 divs on top of it. And I'm just going to start with the first one. We call that, remember, that's the splash. So for the first one, I'm going to call that splash. And now let's go to style.css and let's start having some fun. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say hashtag wrapper. I'm going to set up my grid. If I want to set up a grid, what's the first thing I should put here? Who has a great memory? Close. The first thing you have to do is say, I want to use a grid. So you say display grid. You guys remember that? First you say, I want a grid in my wrapper. Yep. Next. What did you say?
Display grid template.
Display column, or template, columns, yeah. Wait, is it display? Grid? No, it's not. You messed with me, man. By the way, I knew that was wrong because it wasn't popping up. Template columns, yeah. Now I want 4 columns, so what should I put? Thank you. Thank you for helping me out. All right. Now, that first splash, if I was to estimate how big this is, I'd guess about 400 to 500 pixels. So I'm going to set up my rows. Remember, I'm doing 2 rows. I'm just going to do that again. Remember, there's 1 row and the second row. So I'm going to set up my 2 rows here as well. So I'm going to say grid, template rows. These are guesses. 500 pixels, 400 pixels. Who knows? Okay. And then there's a grid gap. This one looks pretty big from when I look at the website, maybe like 20. Okay, we got our, you set up your grid first. Next thing I'm gonna make the splash. So hashtag splash. That was the ID for that first one. I'm gonna set the background to that image. So URL, and in quotes I put the name of it, what I call it, laptop.webp. So go here, laptop.webp. Now, I want to span, well, let's just take a look here. I'll stop here. So let's take a look at how that looks. How'd it go? Didn't pop up. It did, right here. Well, it's just the top left corner of it. How far, don't I want this thing to go all the way across?
Yeah.
So what would I do to make it so it actually spans the entire thing? Grid column, good. Grid column start, very good. Grid column start. I want to go to 1, and then grid, column, end. I'll just tell you if there's 4 columns. I know the math, it's 5, so I'm just going to go like that. Let's take a look. Not bad, right?
Wow.
Not terrible. So, thanks, man. Now, also, do you guys see how there's a little bit of space over here on the both sides? Mine goes like all the way across. What you do is you actually add something called margin. Margin is space, just like white space between things. So on my wrapper, on that grid, I actually want some space there. I'm going to say margin, and then left, let's do like 100 pixels, and then I'll do margin dash right. Remember, this is something new, so I just want to explain it. That is just adding space between the left and right side. So if we press reload now, you see how it's got that space? Not enough. Let's do 200, just so we got the right amount. Boom, boom. And how do we think about, is the height right? Did I get the space? Did that look okay? It's cut off, right? So great point out. So a way you could fix that is what you want is mess with the background size. So I'm going to do background dash size. And I want the background to actually just cover the entire div. So that should make it fit. Oh my gosh, I broke it. Okay. Good, right? We're good. We got a good start here. Huh? Huh?
Wait, what is the background?
What?
The background? The image is
Background size. It's called cover, which means just don't go outside the div, just stay within it. So now it's like within the bounds of it. All right, looking good. I feel great about this. Now we want to put these words over there. So I want to say save up to $200 on a Surface Laptop 5. I want this and I want the button. I'll put those 3 elements in. So let's go back to our index.html. By the way, feel free to stop me. You shouldn't, if anything's like not making sense, just say like, yo, Siegel, no sense. Pause. Okay. So what do you think I should use for it? So inside of that splash div, remember with the background, how do you think, what do you think I would put to get this text on there? What kind of element should I use? Very good, guys. You did learn something. I'm proud of you, seniors. You know, you guys are good people, doing good things. I'm going to give this an ID of primary, just because primary text, because that's like, there's only one of those elements there, so I'll call it primary text, and then just someone remember this, save up to $200 on a Surface Laptop. Okay, tell me if I missed something. Save up to $200 on a Surface Laptop Pro 5. Is that right? Surface Laptop, no Pro. Okay. All right. Let's see how that looks. Kind of whack, right? So, what do you think? What do we need to change when you look at it? Just tell me things. There's a lot of right answers. Yeah. We got to put it more down. So if I look at this, it looks like it's kind of like it's centered, but actually it's kind of interesting. I'm going to do it a little bit of a different way here. But if you look here, it's kind of like it's moved to the right, and it's like kind of they limited the width of it. So what I'm going to do is actually do this thing where I'm going to set the width of this thing. So what I'm going to do is, it's called primary text here. Let's go hashtag primary text. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to set the width of it to 300 pixels first. I just want to see, just to make sure it wraps around. So you see how it wraps like it does here? Okay. I think this font needs to change because it looks disgusting like this. So what I'm going to do is, in the body, I'm going to set the font family to Helvetica, because it's close enough. Helvetica. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Oh. Sorry. Okay. And then we need to go down to the right. So here's where I'm going to use that thing called margin again. So I'm going to say margin left 150 pixels. That's going to move it to the right a little bit. Give it a second. It has to like catch up. Okay. Good. And then margin top 200 pixels. Good, grand, terrible, awful. Anything else? It looks a little bit too thick too, right? So I'll do font weight 400. So like I said, I'm not going to go for like dead on accuracy, but not bad, right? Hate it, love it. Am I getting there? Okay, cool. All right, now we need this sophisticated style and multitasking speed. This thing I don't want to like. Gosh, here. Let me just be. I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to copy and paste that. So I'm going to grab this element right here. Okay, let's go in here. That's the quote. Boom. Okay, what should I put that inside of? Because that text is a little bit smaller. H2. Great. No, that's fine. That's exactly, like I said, there's no right answers. We'll style it from there. And I'm going to call this ID secondary text. Okay. Put all that stuff in there. Let's take out that white space. Take out this white space. Okay, we're good with that. And then let's style it from there. Let's take a look here. That's how it looks. We need to compress it like we did the other one and just make it smaller. So I'm going to be lazy. Check this out. I'm just going to copy and paste the other one. And I'm just going to like, so this one that said primary text, let's take that. Let's put it here. Let's call this secondary text. All right, and let's just make the font smaller. So I'm going to, all the same stuff, font size. Let's do 15 pixels. Okay, so it's the same thing, just smaller. Hold on one sec. Let's make the part, no margin top. And let's font weight to 200. Okay, here we go. Huh? 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 All right, the last thing over here is a button. You guys haven't learned that, but I'll just show you how to do it real quick, and I'll show you how to get the right color there. But the last thing we need is that button over there.
Is there a way for you to have a button on the thing that you can actually clickable?
That's our next unit. We're gonna start learning like how do we make a site that does something? Right now it's just a dummy site. So shop Surface Laptop 5. Okay, so here's the last thing we're gonna do. We're gonna make a button. So here we go. Once again, inside of this div, I'm gonna make a button of the ID of shop. Okay, and what did it say again? Can someone remind me? It said like shop surface. Shop surface. Man, no one remembers it. You guys are young. You're supposed to remember things. So. Okay, laptop 5. All right, I'll show you what this looks like without any styling. That's what a button looks like without any styling. It's kind of gross. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to style the hell out of that thing. So I called that thing shop. Okay, once again, I'm going to give it the same margin and font weight and width. Okay, does anyone remember what that text color was? No, that's the background. But yeah, okay, so the color was white, and the background is what you said was, well, I'm going to show you guys a little tip. You want to see, See how this is the normal color? Here's something your Mac could do. If you go over here and you type in digital color meter, this thing should pop up and it'll actually give you the RGB of anything. So if I put my mouse over that, could someone remember those three numbers? 11.
1181 169.
Don't forget that. Okay, 1181 169. Okay. So RGB.
1181 169.
Okay. Also, this is kind of a cheat code. You could also do this. You could inspect the code and see here. And if you go down to your this, it should tell you. You see where it tells you the color? I could just use that as well. So there's multiple ways to get it. Whatever. So I'm going to use that as my background color. And let's reload it. Pretty close. I'm going to show you two new things. You see how there's no border on their one? Mine has a dumb looking border. You see how that has a little weird border around it? I'm going to say border, none. So I don't want mine to have a border. Okay, almost. And the last thing is, do you see how there's a little bit more space on the top and bottom, like around the button? Like there's like this white space around it, and mine's just kind of like straight up right against it. That thing's called padding. Padding is like little space between things. You could also use margin for this, but I'll use padding. I'm going to give it like 10 pixels of padding. Okay. Hey. Okay. So, not bad, right? I've got the beginning of a Microsoft website, right? Someone got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. I'm doing it for free. Yeah.
Question. So, like, the arrow keys, like at the bottom of the picture, how do you do those?
Oh, great question. Like those are just like literally, I would just like look up images.
It just scrolls like.
Oh, this stuff?
Yeah.
So that's JavaScript. That's like a next level. Like don't go there, right? Like those are like interactive features all have to be without JavaScript. We haven't learned that. So if something like that, like I'm not gonna be like your thing doesn't scroll. I didn't teach you that. So don't worry about that. All right, the last thing we want to do is I'm gonna add these four in here. Yeah, let's just go for it. So I'm going to do four more. I have those four images. So as we talked about earlier, what I'm just going to do is insert those images to those four. So here's my four divs. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to copy and paste the image tag. So I'm going to say image. I'm going to give these all a class because I'm going to style them a little bit later. I'm going to just call them card image. And then let's see here. What's the... oh, we need a source. So what was the first one? Apps. Apps.webp. Okay. Okay, let's do this for all of them. Let's give each one of them an image. 2, 3, 4. The second and third one was, that's laptop surface big. Laptop surface big. Laptop.jpg. Surface.jpg. And then this was called, I think, Bing. See how that looks. Okay, see how that's matching up now? Got it? And then now that I've got my four images.
What would you get for that, like alone?
This?
Yeah.
Like what I've done in 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Like a 10? It's not much work, right? I've done very little for this. You guys have 2 weeks to work on this. And then the last thing I want to do is just put that text underneath it, right? So I'll just quickly like kind of show you a little bit about that, but you guys could do this, right? This is just like another H1 and another like P tag, whatever you want to use. So what I would start doing on these, once again, is I'd just go over here into my thing and say like this, H1. So here, let's give this a class of card text. Okay. Okay. What's it called? What did it say for the? I don't want to keep doing this. Microsoft 350. If you guys can remember, look at this for a second and just remember it, so I don't have to keep going back. All of them. Up to 200 off select laptop, Surface Pro 9, introduce a new big. All right. Remember that second one. All right. Microsoft 365. Okay. Let's do that for the. What was the second one, Dejane?
I don't remember.
Come on! What is it again? Up to. Okay. Up to $200 off select laptops. What's the next one? All right, hold on. I got to be accurate. Pro 5. What was the next one? Surface Pro 9. Okay. Whatever. Like, you know, we're just making something now. Okay, last one. What was the last one? Bing. Oh, intro. Look at you guys. Okay. You guys have such good memories. I'm so proud of you guys. I wish I had a memory like you. All right. So obviously these are a little bit big compared to that. So what I would do is just quickly change the font to a little bit smaller. So I'd say this, card text. Let's make the font size, I don't know, 30 pixels. And let's see how that looks. Nope, too big. Let's try 25. And let's do font weight 400. Come on, baby. Yeah, I'm okay with it though. You see how like this is kind of, it's close enough. Like if you guys were to be graded on this, I wouldn't take off any points. And that's the point. I want you guys to know that like I'm not like gonna grade you hard. You've been coding for 2 weeks. Websites. This was made by a multi-billion-dollar company, right? You're one person. They had a team of hundreds of people to make the website. So like just know that I know that, and I'm not insane and being like your thing's missing this. Like if you did this and you compared it to this, that's good by my book, right? Like that, you've gotten full credit on all the criteria. There just needs to be more content, right? Because I just did a minimum amount.
That could be 100.
No, I'm saying, I meant like in terms